So maybe it's work stress, screens, family obligations, whatever the reason, quality sleep eludes a lot of us.
But there are scientists here in Madison working to make sure, whether it's a full 8 hours or not, that we're getting the best sleep possible. Dannika Lewis is here to explain. Danica?
Well, the Wisconsin Institute for Sleep and Consciousness is working on an option for the masses that doesn't just regulate sleep, but also makes sure we're optimizing what shut-eye we do get in and out of this atmosphere.
If the science is coming in that they're able to, optimize our sleep a little bit, I think that's very cool.
Greg Kramer is the kind of guy who craves self-awareness, including what factors throw his sleep patterns out of whack.
It takes a little bit of getting used to.
It's why Kramer volunteered to strap on one of these devices before bed, in the comfort of his own home, instead of a lab like this.
Before that, it was sending people home with giant suitcases full of electrodes, transponders on their beds.
Researchers Stephanie Jones and Brady Reedner have been developing this headband for the last decade.
The brain is not totally offline. It's actually taking in information, and it's taking in external signals from the outside world.
In collaboration with Philips, the device tracks and enhances what's known as slow wave sleep.
And that's kind of where the business of sleep gets done. So when you feel refreshed in the morning, that's usually correlated with the amount of slow wave sleep you've had.
They've discovered that audio and algorithms can help.
Here you've got earphones, which basically slide right over the ears. And
Tones can sync up those slow waves in our brains and get us into a deeper sleep. So far, the Wisconsin Institute for Sleep and Consciousness has tested out the theory on older adults, like Kramer, one of the populations that has the most difficulty getting to that sleep sweet spot.
those slow waves that we're talking about just aren't as prominent.
But this device could also have implications for people who have to be in top form at all hours, no matter how much or how little sleep they've had. It's why NASA is funding a study to see if the headbands could help
25 seconds into flight.
in space.
We're talking about an astronaut population that's very healthy, that's very active, they sleep well, but they're restricted on, hey, you need to get up and you need to perform.
For Kramer, it's not just where this research is happening, but what it's finding that's out of this world.
I think it's just unbelievably fascinating territory, and kind of what the kids will be studying in the next generation.
Now, speaking of that next generation, the Institute is also looking to test out the headbands on teenagers later this year. And as parents know, adolescents are biologically predisposed to go to bed later. Add social stresses on top of that, and that phase can be a tough one for short sleeping. But astronauts are just the start here. Think about this. Doctors, men and women in the military, things like that, people who really could benefit from more efficient sleep because they have limited hours, have to be ready to rock and roll at any given point.
Important. I mean, we ideally spend about a third of our lives sleeping.
Right. And the point is, even if we don't, we want to get the most out of it.
That's right. All right. Interesting. Danica, thank you.
Sure.